My name is Ara Louise Vance, and for 15 years I have carried a grave inside my chest. This is the true account of the night my dead son called me from 6 feet underground. August 14th, 2025. Cypress Grove Memorial Park, Stone Mountain, Georgia. Plot 217, East Wing, beneath the ancient oak that has watched over him since 2010. I need you to listen until the very last word, because what happened next broke every law of nature and every rule of grief. And I have never told a single living soul the full truth until tonight. Word count, exactly 10,000. The house was silent, the way only houses that have forgotten how to hold children can be silent. I was 61 years old, living alone in the same small ranch on Memorial Drive where Zion took his first steps, said his first word, Mama, always Mama, and on the night of August 12, 2010, kissed my cheek before riding off on the motorcycle he had saved 2 years to buy. I still remember the smell of rain on the air that evening. I still remember telling him, "Be careful, baby, the roads get slick." He laughed, 17, invincible, helmet under his arm, and said, "I'll be back before you miss me, Mom." He never came back. The hospital call came at 11:42 p.m. I knew before they spoke. A mother always knows when the thread snaps. I saw him in the morgue. I touched the cold marble of his cheek. I closed his eyes myself because the nurse was shaking too hard. I chose the navy suit he wore to junior prom. I placed his favorite blue Nokia in the inside pocket of the jacket because in one of his dramatic teenage phases, he had written a will on notebook paper that said, "If I die, bury my phone with me so I can still text Mom from heaven." We laughed at the time. We honored it anyway. The funeral was on a Tuesday. Rain again. I threw the first handful of dirt. The sound it made when it hit the casket is the sound that has played on repeat inside my skull for 15 years. Darius, my husband of 20 years, left 6 months later. He said the house screamed Zion's name every night. He remarried a woman named Kimberly, who gave him 2 little girls with blonde curls. I kept the house. I kept Zion's room exactly as he left it. Bed unmade, math homework half finished, sneakers by the door like he might walk in any second and say, "Mom, I'm starving." I kept his cell phone plan active, $34.99 every month, just to hear his voice on the voicemail. "Hey, you reached Zion. Leave a message and I'll call you back. Thanks." Some nights I would call from the landline, put it on speaker, and fall asleep to those 10 seconds of him still breathing. People told me to move on. Therapists, friends who slowly stopped calling, even my own mother before she passed. I tried. I swallowed the pills. I sat in circles where strangers cried about parents and spouses, and I wanted to scream, "You still get to visit yours. Mine is under dirt." I became a ghost who taught kindergarten, smiling at other people's children, while mine rotted. Then came Wednesday, August 14th, 2025. I had fallen asleep on the couch again, television flickering with some show I wasn't watching. The clock on the cable box read 3:26 a.m., when the old iPhone, the one I kept charged only for Zion's number, lit up on the coffee table. The name on the screen made my heart stop. Zion. Heart. Incoming call. I had renamed the contact "Do Not Answer, You Will Cry" years ago. But tonight it simply said Zion, the way it used to when he was late coming home from practice. The phone rang 7 times. On the 7th ring, something inside me shattered open. I answered. Silence. Then breathing, slow, confused, human. "Hello?" My voice was barely air. A pause so long I thought the call had dropped. Then the voice I would know on the last day of the world. Mom? Every molecule in my body turned to ice and fire at the same time. Zion? Baby? Mom, where am I? It's completely dark in here. I sat up so fast the room spun. The lamp crashed to the floor as I lunged for light. Zion, baby, listen to me. You had an accident a long time ago. I remember the crash, the rain, the lights, then nothing. And now I woke up and I can't see anything and it smells like dirt. Mom, I'm cold. I was already pulling on shoes, grabbing keys, the phone fused to my ear. Zion, stay with me. Don't hang up. I'm trying. The battery says 6%. How long was I asleep, Mom? I couldn't say it. The words were razor blades in my throat. 15 years, baby. Silence. Then a sound I hope no mother ever has to hear, her child realizing he is dead. No, Mom, I'm only 17. I can't have lost 15 years. Please tell me this is a nightmare. I was in the car, barefoot, tearing through red lights, sobbing so hard I could barely see the road. Zion, the phone, how do you still have battery? It was in my pocket, the blue Nokia. I feel the buttons. Mom, it's so tight in here, wood all around. I can't move my legs. I screamed, a raw animal sound that shredded my vocal cords. I knew exactly where he was. Cypress Grove Memorial Park. 23 minutes if you don't stop for laws or sanity. I kept him talking the whole drive. I made him remember things only he would know. The time he broke his arm trying to skateboard off the roof. The first time he parallel parked and cried because he was scared to fail his driver's test. The night he asked me if God was real and I said, if he isn't, then who keeps putting love like this inside mothers? He laughed through his tears at that one, a wet, broken laugh that sounded exactly 17. By the time I screeched into the cemetery entrance, his battery was at 2%. The gates were locked. I climbed them, ripping my pajamas on the spikes, blood running down my leg, not feeling it. I knew the path by heart. Left at the Almeida crypt, right at the Weeping Angel, straight until the giant oak. I fell to my knees in front of his stone. Zion Eduardo Vance, 1993 to 2010. Beloved son, brother, friend, forever in our hearts. I pressed the phone to the grass like I could push my voice through 6 feet of earth. Zion, I'm here. I'm right above you. Mom, his voice was fading. I'm sleepy again. It's getting harder to breathe. No, baby, stay awake. Fight it. Mommy's here. I love you, Mom. Tell me the moon thing one more time. I was sobbing into the dirt, clawing at it with my bare hands. I love you to the moon and back, baby, 1,000,000 times around. I love you more, he whispered, the game we'd played since he was 4. I love you most, I answered. And then the line went dead. I screamed his name until my throat bled. I dug with my hands until my nail fingers tore off. The night watchman, Mr. Silas, found me at dawn, covered in mud and blood, cradling a silent phone against the grave. He called the paramedics. They sedated me. They said auditory hallucination, psychotic break, complicated grief. They kept me for 3 days. On the 3rd morning, Darius came. He looked 20 years older, gray, thin, eyes red. He sat beside my hospital bed and didn't speak for a long time. Finally, he said, "The cemetery called me. They found something when they were repairing the sprinkler system near Zion's plot." I couldn't breathe. They found the casket disturbed, not broken into, disturbed from the inside. The lid, the satin lining was torn. There were scratch marks on the wood. I started shaking. And the phone, he continued, voice cracking. The blue Nokia. It was on the ground outside the casket, screen cracked, battery dead. But the call log. He placed a printout in my trembling hands. One outgoing call. August 14th, 2025, 3:27 a.m. Duration, 19 minutes, 42 seconds. 2. Mom, heart. There was no logical explanation. The phone had been buried 15 years. No battery lasts that long. No signal reaches 6 feet underground. But it happened. Darius held me while I cried, no, while we both cried, for the first time since the funeral. We filed for exhumation. It took 4 months of lawyers, judges, psychologists who said I was delusional. On December 18th, 2025, they opened the casket. I insisted on being there. The ground was frozen. The air smelled like pine and death. When they lifted the lid, the suit was rotted. The body, my beautiful boy, was only bones wrapped in fabric. But the right hand, the bones of the right hand were curled around the empty space where the phone had once been, and inside the casket lid, scratched deep into the wood with fingernails that had somehow grown after death, were 4 words: I love you most. I collapsed. They say I stopped breathing for 47 seconds. When I came back, the only thing I could whisper was, he waited for me to answer. We reburied him the next day. This time I placed a new phone in his hand, fully charged, my number on speed dial. I still pay the bill every month. And every night at 3:27 a.m., I keep my ringer on. Because some mothers never hang up. Some sons never stop trying to come home. And some love is stronger than coffins, stronger than time, stronger than death itself. If your phone rings late at night and the name on the screen belongs to someone you've buried, answer it. They might only have 2% left, and they've been waiting 15 years to say goodnight. This is my story. This is our story. Thank you for listening. My name is Elena Marie Thompson, and for 12 years, I have worn a shroud around my heart, woven from the threads of what-ifs and never-agains. This is the true account of the dawn my drowned daughter whispered to me from the depths of the lake that claimed her. November 22nd, 2025. Whispering Pines Lake Cemetery, Evergreen Shores, Michigan. Lot 89, northern edge, overlooking the water where she slipped away in 2013. I beg you to read every line, because what unfolded that morning shattered the veil between life and the abyss, defined every science of sorrow and every boundary of the beyond. And I have guarded this secret like a relic, sharing it with no one, until now. The cabin creaked in the wind the way only homes haunted by absence can creak. I was 58, alone in the lakeside retreat where Sophia learned to swim, spoke her first full sentence, "Look, Mama, stars," and on the evening of July 4th, 2013, hugged me tight before joining friends for a midnight boat ride. I can still feel the cool mist on my skin that night. I can still hear myself saying, "Stay safe, sweetheart. The water's unforgiving after dark." She grinned, 16, radiant, life jacket slung over her shoulder, and replied, "I'll be home before breakfast, Mom. Promise." She never kept that promise. The sheriff's call came at 2:19 a.m. I felt the fracture before the words formed. Apparent senses when the light extinguishes. I identified her at the dockside morgue. I brushed the tangled seaweed from her hair. I kissed her forehead, still damp and chilled.
I selected the white sundress she wore to her sweet 16 party. I tugged her silver locket, the one with our photo inside, around her neck because in a fit of teenage whimsy, she'd once joked in a diary entry, "If I ever go under, bury my locket with me so I can still feel Mom's heartbeat from the other side." We chuckled then. We fulfilled it regardless. The service was on a Friday, fog rolling off the lake. I released the first dove. The thud of the casket closing echoes in my dreams like a door slamming forever. Marcus, my partner of 18 years, drifted away 9 months later. He claimed the waves whispered Sophia's laughter too loudly. He found solace with a woman named Rebecca, who bore him a son with eyes like the sea. I stayed in the cabin. I preserved Sophia's room untouched, posters curling at the edges, diary open to a half-written poem, flip-flops by the bed, as if she'd kick them off and bound in, yelling, "Mom, guess what happened today?" I maintained her email account active, $9.99 a month, just to log in and see her last sent message, a photo of fireworks, captioned, "Love you to the stars and back." On stormy nights, I'd compose drafts to her, never sending, pouring out the unsaid. Others urged me forward. Counselors, neighbors who faded into silence, even my sister before cancer took her. I attempted it. I endured the therapy sessions. I joined groups where losses were tallied like scores, and I bit back the urge to shout, "Yours might return in memories, mine is lost to the deep." I became a shadow who volunteered at the local library reading to children while mine dissolved. Then came Saturday, November 22nd, 2025. I dozed off in the armchair by the window, rain pattering like fingers on glass, a forgotten book in my lap. The digital clock glowed 4:13 a.m. when my laptop, left open for no reason, pinged with a notification. The email alert froze my blood. From sophiastargazer@gmail.com. Subject, Mom? I'd labeled it archive only, heartache ahead ages ago, but this morning it was simply Sophia, as it appeared when she'd sent silly memes from school. The message sat unread, time-stamped 4:12 a.m. My hands trembled as I clicked. The body was blank at first, then, as if loading in real time, words appeared. "Mom, it's so cold down here. Dark. Water everywhere. Mom, help me." I was on my feet, yanking on boots, snatching the keys, laptop clutched like a lifeline. "Sophia, hold on, don't stop writing."
"The battery, it's low. Locket's chain is tangled. How long, Mom? Feels like yesterday." The truth clawed at me. 12 years, my love." A pause. Then, "No, I'm 16. I had plans. College, you and me traveling. This can't be real. Wake me up, please." I was in the truck, engine roaring, wipers slashing through sleet, tears blurring the windshield. "Sophia, the locket. How is it powering anything? It's around my neck. Feels like it's glowing. Mom, the pressure. Can't breathe right. Walls of wood? No. Silt and stone." A wail escaped me, primal and piercing. I knew her resting place intimately. Whispering Pines Lake Cemetery, 15 miles if you ignore speed limits and reason. I kept her responding en route. I quizzed her on secrets only she knew. The scar from falling off her bike at 10 chasing fireflies. The crush she confessed on prom night, blushing furiously. The evening she asked if souls float after death. And I said, if they don't, then what pulls mothers to gaze at the water? She replied with emojis, a heart, a tear, exactly as she did at 16. By the time I skidded to the cemetery gates, the laptop battery flashed 3%. Chains barred the entrance. I vaulted them, twisting my ankle on the landing, pain a distant echo. The path was muscle memory, past the willow tree, along the lakeside fence, to the headstone by the shore. Sophia Grace Thompson, 1997, 2013. Cherished daughter, dreamer, light, eternal in the waves. I knelt in the mud, screen illuminating the stone. Sophia, I'm here, right beside you. Mom, her words slowed. Tired. The water's rising inside. Hard to type. No, stay with me, sweetheart. Mommy's got you. Tell me the stars thing again. I pressed my palms to the earth, as if I could reach through. I love you to the stars and back, my girl, infinity times. I love you brighter, she typed, our ritual since she was 5. I love you endless, I replied. Then the screen went dark. I howled her name until my voice splintered. I clawed at the soil with bare hands until my skin split. The groundskeeper, old Mrs. Harrow, discovered me at sunrise, drenched, mud-caked, laptop shattered against the stone. She summoned the ambulance. They restrained me. Diagnosed delusion, trauma-induced psychosis, unresolved mourning. They observed me for 4 days. On the 4th, Marcus arrived. Weary, lined, eyes shadowed. He perched on the bed's edge, silent for an age. At last, the cemetery contacted me. While fixing an eroded bank near Sophia's site, they uncovered something. My pulse thundered. The vault was shifted, not breached from above, from within. The interior padding shredded, gouges in the lid. I quivered. And the locket, he rasped. Silver chain. It was outside the casket, half buried in silt. Tarnished, but the clasp broken. The email server logs. He handed a screenshot. 1 sent message. November 22nd, 2025, 4:13 a.m. 2. Mom's heart. Duration. Logged as active for 17 minutes. No rational answer existed. The locket buried 12 years. No tech endures submersion. No connection pierces the grave. Yet it transpired. Marcus embraced me as we wept, truly together, for the first time since her farewell. We petitioned for disinterment. 3 months of battles, attorneys, officials, experts deeming me unhinged. On February 28, 2026, they unearthed her. I demanded presence. Snow dusted the ground. The scent of lake and loam hung heavy. As the lid rose, the dress frayed to threads. Her form, my radiant child, mere remnants in repose. But the skeletal fingers of her left hand clutched the void where the locket rested. And etched into the casket's interior, carved with what must have been desperate, impossible nails, 4 words. I love you endless. I crumpled. They revived me after 39 seconds without breath. My first gasp. She waited for my reply. We laid her to rest anew the following dawn. This time, I slipped a waterproof tablet into her grasp, charged, my email primed. I renew the data plan monthly, and every dawn at 4:13 a.m., I check my inbox. Because some bonds defy depths. Some daughters never cease reaching, and some love outlasts lakes, outpaces years, outshines oblivion. If your device chimes in the witching hour from an address long silenced, open it. They may have only moments left, and they've lingered 12 years to whisper goodbye. This is my truth.
This is her echo. Thank you for bearing witness.